Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the middle morning briefing of the week. It is Wednesday, isn't it? We've got loads to chat to you about today. Really busy show, so let's just get on with it. First thing, a quick word from today's video sponsor. This Celtic Way video is brought to you by S1 Jobs. If it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow, Edinburgh and the surrounding areas, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs. Start your search today. To get involved with them, definitely also get involved with the Celtic Way, because big news, this is the final day you can get involved with this genuinely incredible offer. And I can say that because I don't really contribute in the same way the rest of the squad do in terms of the written stuff on the website. But yeah, £1 for 6 months of access. Final day today. The print is unavailable. That glorious Jota print unavailable after midnight tonight. And if you do get involved, you get exclusive interviews, one of which we'll talk about today. Comprehensive news, ad-free, of course. The bespoke app as well that me and John spoke about previously, I didn't even know about. And a real time for people to get involved. Tony, this is a call to action for people to get involved with the Celtic Way. £1 for 6 months and you get all of this stuff.
Yeah, the Jota print. I think yesterday we were asked about the size, or we were asked about the size. It was A4, but I believe it's A3. So I stand corrected on that. So A3 is slightly bigger, in the A4. So, so first and foremost, just wanted to put that in. But yeah, I mean, the Jota print's a wonderful souvenir to have, but even still, £1, we think it represents great value for the stuff that we do. We try and give you content all across the board. We do scouting reports. We do stats bomb analysis. We do a podcast every day from 10 o'clock. We do pre and post match briefings as well, and we try and get exclusive interviews, just interviews with former players, managers, current players, managers, etc., etc. And we do put a lot of hard work into it, or we try certainly. And as Hamish says there, sometimes that hard work pays off big time. And I mean, we enjoy what we do. We do it with a passion and a vigour and a zest, and we also do it with humour and honesty and humility as well. We hope that comes across in the writing too. And it's just that's a great deal. I think it's probably our best ever deal with £1 for 6 months of access to everything on the site, and you get the Jota print as a bonus as well, made by Frankie, a brilliant football artist. She's done a few for us now, and they're all cracking. So there it is. You've got to get involved with that, guys. Midnight tonight. I hate using phrases like transfer window slamming shut, Hamish, and all that. But it ends at midnight tonight. So get involved, guys, and we thank everybody that has taken that subscription offer up already, because subscriptions are the backbone of what we do. It helps everything ticking over, and it helps us able to produce stuff like this. So appreciate all your time and effort and your help in helping us by subscribing to the site.
The guys are very humble. And I'm not, for one, I kind of am, but also I don't, as I say, write on the website, so I can fully promote it, whereas some of the guys might feel a wee bit weird doing it about their own work. But incredible stuff. Sorry, £1 for 6 months, one single pound, what you would spend a pound on these days. No Rangers jokes there from 13 years ago. That was an easy one. £1 for 6 months of access is, ad-free. All the work the guys do, all the insight pieces before matches, after matches, the immediate, full-time reactions you get, interviews, one of which we're going to talk about today. Tony's been speaking to a current Celtic player, Odin Thiago Holm, who's out in LA playing for LAFC. And the only way you can read that in full and ad-free is by subscribing to the channel. Not the channel, sorry, the website, for £1 for 6 months of access. And that Jota print as well. This is the final day you can get your hands on that. After midnight, you won't be able to have that up in your bedroom wall or wherever else. Right, okay, Tony, tell us a bit about Odin Holm then.
He's loving life in LA, but why wouldn't you? But he also said he still thinks he has a future at Celtic, and I was quite happy to hear him say that. He believes he has a future at Celtic, and he wants to come back and help Celtic win trophies. He wants to play in the Champions League. He spoke about the disappointment of the red card against Feyenoord, And and he's taken up surfing, as you would. You're in the sun of California, so you can have a read at it, guys, and he's very upbeat about coming back to Celtic, and it's not a case of out of sight and out of mind. He's hopeful that he'll come back and make a mark and contribute and make an impact. So, yeah, he's as I say, he's happy where he is, but he has got his mind set on coming back and being a success at Celtic. And this was a player who Liverpool, Manchester United, and Juventus all courted as a youngster, but he stayed with Vålerenga and played over 100 games for them because he didn't want to get lost in the academy system. So he's out on loan. He's there for a year, but his grand plan is to come back to Celtic. But it's an interesting interview. He's, as I say, he's fairly upbeat, and you can have a read at it, and you can make up your own mind and see what you think will happen with him.
Is it fair to say that maybe he came across slightly differently to what you were expecting from him?
Yeah, I expected somebody a bit more gregarious, but I think he's a wee bit more reserved now, and I think he just wants to knuckle down and play his football and let that do the talking. So yeah, but I mean, he didn't flinch from any of the questions. He answered the questions openly and honestly, and spoke about Brendan Rodgers as well. As I said, I don't want to give away too much. You can all have a read at it and see what you think. But I was very impressed by the fact that he wasn't talking about leaving Celtic in any shape or form. He was talking about the fact that he'd signed a long-term deal. He's contracted the club till 2028. So he still feels that within that time he can come back and make an impact and contribute to a successful Celtic team, as well as play in the Champions League, because that's where he wants to play. So I was impressed by that, and first and foremost, I was very happy that he gave us his time and sat down and talked to us. So I'm very grateful to him for that, and thankful that he did that. And LAFC were great in terms of arranging that. So despite the time difference, I think he did it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like 9 o'clock my time, but I didn't care. Yeah. I was just like nailing that. You'll know all about that.
Welcome to my world. I was going to say
exactly.
That,
yeah. So I didn't really care. It was just to get a time. I would have conducted it at 3 a.m. if it suited him. So, but yeah, and so I was thankful to LAFC for arranging that. So all good. But no, it's an interesting interview. He's, as I say, that's the kind of thing we hope to try and do more of on the Celtic way, and why we believe that £1 for 6 months is great value. So, and but yeah, it's, as I say, you'll enjoy it. And if those think that Odin Thiago Holm still has a future at Celtic, then you'll be buoyed by that and interested by it.
So he's out on loan there until the end of the calendar year, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out on loan to the end of their season, which kind of finishes, I think, November, December, depending if you make the MLS Cup games, isn't it, or the Championship games. So yeah, he won't be back until that time. So and I think he's starting to, he's recovering from injury, so he's just starting to play more regular football now. So he says he's in a happier place now that he's starting to play again.
I kind of feel like the fact that he would be coming back to Celtic in the middle of our season, the middle of that ultramarathon the ultramarathon Mark II that we're going to have next year. And you kind of feel like that makes it quite difficult for him. Like, the one hope I would maybe have is that if he was coming back in the summer at the start of pre-season and could really impress, because he's clearly got talent.
Yeah.
It's just that the rest of our midfield has a lot of talent as well. And people would probably argue even more talent than someone like Holm when you look at guys like Engels and Hatate, for example. So I think that makes it difficult for him, the fact that if he comes mid-season, the only way he could maybe work his way into plans is by having a stormer for LAFC.
Yeah. And also as well, I think if he comes back around about that time, then I guess you could view him as a kind of January signing type thing, couldn't you? That kind of a window signing there.
You sound like a Celtic board member with that kind of chat. They'll be like, we couldn't sign anyone, but we've got Odin Holm coming back. He's like a new signing.
Yeah. I don't mean it'd be like a new signing, but you could kind of couch it in those terms, couldn't you? Because I think a lot of the Celtic supporters are, I see that they're intrigued to see what you can bring, because they've witnessed snippets, but they've not seen enough, have they? He scored against Bucky Thistle in that game, and he came on at Ibrox in the game where Kyogo Furuhashi scored in the winner in the 1-0 game, played for 25 minutes and actually looked okay, but then just blotted his copybook with the reckless challenge against Feyenoord in the away game, and they keep in the first game in the Champions League, didn't he? And, and these are big moments for players at times. And so, I still think there's a footballer there with tremendous ability there. And my thoughts on it, you can't get enough good footballers in your team. At this moment in time, you struggle to find where he would come into that team, but I still think you can, the likes of McCowan and Bernardo, you can still challenge them, and come in and play your part until such times where you deem yourself good enough to command a regular place.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But if you want to find out a bit more about Odin Holm, because he's kind of a bit of a mystery man, then read Tony's piece. It's on the website, and £1 for 6 months, everyone. Okay, there was a game last night. Glasgow Cup, Celtic B, Rangers B. We were behind, and then we equalised. And then we went to penalties, I think straight to penalties after 90 minutes. It was Rhys Dargy had scored our goal. It was a kind of centre of the box finish after a shot from Jude Bonner. Kind of deflected shot, wasn't it? And he got onto the end of it and finished it well. And it went to penalties and we lost on penalties. Lewis Dolby missed the final penalty, putting it wide of the post. So bit of a gutter. I think we've had a few gutters against Rangers in that competition in recent years. And I was listening to Stephen McManus, the manager, after the game, and I think his message was basically, this is men's football, or if this isn't men's football, we're gearing you up for men's football. Don't feel sorry for yourself. This is how tough, professional football is. You lose games and penalties, and apparently the team played quite well. Just got into some good areas, but didn't have that final pass or final shot. So steep learning curve for them. But I kind of feel like, obviously, we want Celtic to be beating Rangers. Personally, I want Celtic to be beating Rangers at under sixes. And I mean that, but if the players are going to lose, let it be at youth level and let them learn from that.
And Rodgers was there, and obviously Jude Bonner, I believe, showed up well. Yeah, and he's already made his mark in the first team, hasn't he? He's had some minutes in the first team, so I guess he would have gone along to continue to chart the young man's progress. But I think that's wise words from Steve McManus. Being a footballer, it's a great profession, obviously, but in that equation is losing, and you lose big matches and you lose them cruelly, and you have to take it on the chin, as they say. And the wonderful thing about football is there's the next match, there's the next trophy, there's the next season, all of that kind of stuff, and you have to develop that mentality. Right, we go again, and at any level. And I think for the B team, that's sage advice from Steve McManus, because he's been there, seen it, and done it, and was an excellent defender for Celtic and scored some crucial goals at times in his career. So he's been around the block. So if anybody can help these guys get over a heartbreak or a disappointment like that, it's certainly Steve McManus, because he's been in that movie. So I think those guys would be wise to listen to someone like that, because you can educate them on that side of the game as well. Because when you're young, these things can affect you sometimes in your career, losing big matches like that. But as you say, I'm glad the manager was there. There's no reason for him not to be there, but certainly he will have been taking a lot of mental notes about young guys that are in the academy and can maybe push their way up into the first team and start, getting appearances on the substitute bench and possibly pushing forward for some vital minutes on the park. Jude Bonner's clearly one of those.
Yeah, I quite like, having not seen too much of him, and I didn't catch the game last night, Jude Bonner looks to have something for me. He looks to be a bit of an all-rounder. I remember when he came on against Aberdeen, I think it was Arnie Engels he replaced that night, and I thought he kind of looked quite similar to Engels in terms of the way he was running with the ball. And just like we were talking about Engels, I think yesterday, didn't appear to have any real weaknesses in his game. Quite a big boy, carries himself, looks like a man as well, which I think is important for younger players. Hopefully we see a bit more of him for the first team for the rest of the season. Clearly you're after the weekend, you're looking at 3 games left, and certainly the two before Trophy Day. I'd like to see a bit of them, and maybe a few other players who are progressing quite well. Going forward, you just want to see more of these players getting opportunities. But as Brendan Rodgers always says, they have to be good enough, and they also have to be They have to be patient.
But you've got the 2 greatest poster boys for the academy, haven't you? Currently in the team, on 26 medals and 24 medals respectively. And that's James Forrest and Callum McGregor. So that's the challenge to the likes of Jude Bonner. You want to be like those guys. Keep doing what you're doing, and if you're good enough, it will come. There's Raymond Haddon telling you, that's the reports that I was reading as well, that Jude Bonner was impressive last night. So I'm sure you'll get some more game minutes before the season's out, Hamish. You would do it after Sunday, wouldn't you? I think.
Yeah, I mean the Hibs game the following week. I think the Aberdeen game in midweek after that, and potentially even Trophy Day. I think there's maybe an argument to rest a number of players in Trophy Day ahead of the Cup final.
Yeah, I think that would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? And just give these guys a taste of it, what it's like to play in a successful Celtic team, in front of everybody celebrating when it's party day and stuff like that. There's no better day than to plug guys. And James Forrest came on, didn't he? I think Trophy Day or against Motherwell when Celtic won.
Yeah, it was after Rangers had won the league, and he came on, and it was kind of a dead rubber game. He scored that goal in his debut.
Oh yeah, in his debut. So, and so these are the kind of games where if these guys are going to get minutes, then that's when you play them, because everybody wants to have a look at them, and we like to see youngsters coming in and do that. And James Forrest and Callum McGregor are, as I say, they're the poster boys for that. And Jude Bonner and Ian, others should be looking at that and thinking, I'm going to be the next James Forrest or Callum McGregor. That's me. Hopefully they'll be talking about me like that in a few years.
You'd really genuinely love to see a player break through, wouldn't you? Because it's been a long time. Yeah. I know we've had a few. Daniel Kelly came in and did quite well, and moved off. And there's been various others, like Ben Doak played a couple of games, and there'll be another one, Rocco Vata, and they tend to move off. But you would love. I mean, how good a story is that? Remember the Kieran Tierney story? Kind of plucked from nowhere. I think he'd had broken leg and stuff, and came in and just immediately looked great and just got better and better. Imagine having another story like that. Like it'd be amazing. Someone like Jude Bonner, give him a couple of games at the end of the season, because he looks like he's got something. Give him an opportunity, and then potentially, he does well, and suddenly you're into the new season, big pre-season behind him. And you could just have another success story there. It's hard to say for sure when we've not really watched the B team, but I do think these players just maybe need a wee opportunity. And it feels to me like we've got a perfect chance over the next few weeks between Sunday and the Cup final, 3 games to play a few. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, and someone's put in the comments as well, maybe bringing in somebody like Johnny Kenny too. Well, that's Steve McGrory. Yep. And so, I think we do want to see these guys, don't we? We can do it now that the league's been wrapped up. Obviously, Sunday's a different matter entirely, but after Sunday, there's no reason why we shouldn't see the likes of Jude Bonner and Johnny Kenny coming in and any others. And that's why Brendan Rodgers will have been there last night. I think he'll have his eye on that and thinking, right, who can I promote here? Who can I give some minutes to? Because he will have to rest players, Hamish. It's the ultimate no-brainer. He wants his strongest team for the Scottish Cup final, going for a third managerial treble, which would be a record for any Celtic manager. So he wants that desperately, and the players want it as well. So it would be stupid to risk all of your stay players, wouldn't it, in games that really don't matter, but they do matter because you want to get results, but you want to finish the season with a flourish. But I think if you get the opportunity to bring these guys on, then you take it. You have to.
Yeah, gives a bit of excitement to fans as well, because these games coming up after Sunday, there's not too much riding on them. Obviously, we want to keep winning ahead of the cup final, but it'd be great to see a couple. We're not talking about a whole team filled with youngsters, but start a couple in the team, even start one and bring one off the bench, and see what happens. McLaughlin P kind of touching on another story, linking the two stories, saying might be an ace in the B team in the 3rd division if the lower leagues get this revamp. So there is a bit of chat about league reconstruction again, and this is kind of twofold. There's one bit that affects Celtic and one bit that doesn't really, although maybe slightly, as McLaughlin P just says. The league's going to be staying as a 12, Tony. That's the chat. Steve McGowan in the Herald saying, basically, after discussing a 10-team league, a 14-team league, a 16-team league, they've found pitfalls in all of these suggestions, and it was felt that none of those suggestions would get 11 of the 12 votes that they require from top-flight clubs to pass. I think they need lower league votes as well. So basically, after all of this chat over the last month about, oh no, will we make the league smaller? No, don't do that. Let's make it a bigger one. We're staying as we are, 12-team league, probably for the next 18 months until this debate comes up again. Have you got any thoughts on this?
We'll reconvene this time next year and have the same conversation. It's ad infinitum. I'm 53. I think ever since I came into journalism, I'll be 53 in July. I'm 52. There you go. But ever since I came into journalism, I've had this conversation every season, every close season, every summer. So what's that? That's nearly 30 years I've been doing this gig, and so yeah, and it's been happening since long before I came into football journalism. So we can't seem to get it right. Every now and again, we go for a revamp. I think they did it in '75, didn't they? And then with the 10-team league, and then it became and then during my time we had the Scottish Premier League, didn't we? The SPL and stuff like that, and the guys as the Scottish Premiership as we know it. So until someone comes up with the perfect formula, which I don't think exists, then we'll continue to have these discussions. The league is what it is. People like it, people don't like it. Personally, I'm with Brendan Rodgers on this. I think there is room for expansion, but how that manifests itself to suit everybody and please everybody, I'm not sure, because it all hinges on Celtic and Rangers playing each other 4 times a season, doesn't it?
So I'm already looking ahead, and the reason that this chat came about was kind of out of necessity. The SPFL, I think, are a bit concerned about the fixture or the schedule becoming overcrowded. And we've spoken about that ultramarathon. I worked it out earlier from the start of the ultramarathon, which was that game at Tynecastle on the Saturday night. I think it was the end of November, to the game at St Mirren at the start of March. Celtic had 1 free midweek between the end of November and the start of March. And we had games every weekend apart from the one that was called off for the storm it's at Celtic Park. So ridiculous. And I think their fear would be if you have a worse winter where more games are called off, what do you do? So I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking, if they're not reconstructing the league, they've not fixed the problem. The problem of too many matches is still there. So what are they going to do to fix this? Do they bring the start of the league season forward a week? Not for next season, but maybe the year after, just to buy themselves an extra week. Something, I've kind of spoken about this a little bit, something I find really strange, and it's just accepted, is that we've got the winter months, right? November, December, January, February, cold weather. And for some reason, we try and cram all of our matches into that period. Cold winter nights at Celtic Park, where everyone's there with their coat and their hat and their scarf and all of that stuff. How many winter games did we have at Celtic Park this year? It felt like we had about 100 on Wednesday nights. Yet when we get to this time of year and it's looking bright outside you and starting to get a bit nicer, we don't have any midweek football. There's 1 midweek game in the final 2 months of the season. Like, what's that? What's that all about? Surely at least during the split, you've got your 5 games, put at least 2 of them in midweeks. I mean, that to me seems a very obvious thing. We have a weird season now, Celtic, where we just have a quiet start to the season. It'll be slightly different next year with the qualifier, but that's only 2 games. We then have this crazy period after the 3 international breaks between November and March, where we just have, to be honest, I loved it, but almost too much football. Like it was a bit mad every 3 days for 4 months. And then you get to this point in the season where, again, you're kind of twiddling your thumbs during the week. So I'm like, is there not a way we can make this more even throughout the whole season?
It's certainly mad for someone like Arne Engels.
Yeah.
It was completely crazy. It was something he wasn't used to. It was like a game, and then 3 days later he was like, another game? It's like, yeah. And then 3 days later, another game. All right, and repeat this to when? He's looking at the calendar and thinking, no way. But yeah, it does seem strange, doesn't it? I mean, it is the biggest advert for summer football, isn't it? Let's be honest. And
there's another debate we have every couple of years.
Exactly. look at the weather, So
yeah,
and then, but and Brendan Rodgers talks about it a lot about burnout, doesn't he? Because he's a big advocate of the winter break. But that's the problem now. There's just not enough weeks in the calendar.
There's no way you can have a winter break.
Correct. Too much football, but he loved the winter break. He thought it was great, but then if you're going to have the winter break, then you're going to have to start the season earlier, aren't you? You're talking about the season starting in July, then, aren't you, really? Last fortnight in July, which is the Glasgow Fair usually, isn't it? So the old traditional Glasgow Fair. And so what do you do? That is the thing. Or do you switch to summer football? I don't think traditionalists would accept that and do that. I know the Irish football switched to summer football, didn't they? And surprisingly, their team started doing a wee bit better in Europe. So I think Scottish club were looking at that at one point as well, seriously. But
it's flying in Ireland, isn't it? Even away from the European stuff, their league's flying.
So but that's fallen off the agenda as well. We just go round in circles with these kind of things, don't we?
Yeah.
But as I say, we'll reconvene this time next year because we'll be talking about it again. The weather will be the same, and we'll be wondering why we crammed all this football into the winter months.
Yeah. I think there's loads of things. McLaughlin P again talking about the League Cup, extending it, bringing it into the new year like it was after the World Cup year. Again, you wonder all of these games, will the League Cup possibly go at some stage in the future? Not imminently, but in years to come. I
think it will.
Yeah.
I think you maybe have to sacrifice that because the League Cup now doesn't carry the European spot, so there's no. The only prestige in winning it is it forms part of a treble, doesn't it?
We win it every year, so what's the point for the rest of Scottish football?
You look in most leagues, it's usually the league in a national competition, isn't it? I don't think most other leagues in Europe have what's known as a League Cup. I think some of them do, but a lot of them don't. But I look to, likes of Italy, it's just like the Scudetto, the Serie A, and the Coppa Italia, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the same in Spain, isn't it? It's the League Championship and the Copa del Rey. I don't see any other League Cup competitions. So I think in going down the line, I think for a club like Celtic, the League Cup might be one of those that serves more function for them, other than, as I say, forming part of a domestic treble. But if they're talking about the fixture congestion, then that's something that they probably will have to look at, isn't it? The League Cup as a competition, and what happens to it? Could it become defunct? I think that's a serious question that will need to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Because there's a lot of European games at the moment. I mean, we had 10 there. We've got 10 guaranteed next season in Europe. Potentially more if we go beyond. And I mean, the new cycle for UEFA is up in a couple of years. UEFA work in 3-year cycles, so that's when they make their changes every 3 years or so. And I'm pretty sure UEFA are going to push for even more matches. I mean, in their original plans for the current format, which they changed, obviously had the big change, they wanted each team to play 10 matches in the league phase. They brought it down to 8, and I wonder if they'll go for 10 again next time. So that gives you even more problems. The problem here that the SPFL had and wanted to fix by changing the league structure to bring us fewer matches, that problem hasn't been fixed. That problem's still there. So I'm kind of I'm wondering what they're going to do about it, whether this debate's going to come up again and they're going to have formulated a better plan. But it's kind of typically Scottish football, isn't it? Like you have this come up, you have the debate about it. Brendan Rodgers has even asked about the league size, and then nothing happens. Sorry, I should say quickly the lower leagues. This was the other part. The lower leagues, it looks like change is coming there. Potentially the Championship going from 10 teams to 12 or even 14. In League One and League Two, talk of them being merged into a single league, probably 16 or 18 clubs. So that doesn't directly affect Celtic, but again, that kind of makes sense to me. Lucky them having bigger leagues. So we'll see if that happens. I think they're talking about conversations in May for that. Anything else, Tony?
We've managed to get through half an hour. We've not even mentioned the game of association football taking place in Govan on Sunday at high noon. Amazing, eh? Who would have thought we could do that, Hamish, and not mention it? But yeah, I mean, we spoke about it yesterday. I actually can't wait for Sunday now. I'm really looking forward to it. I just think we'll see a different Celtic, I have to say. I've said that before. I'm fed up using phrases like, if we turn up. There's no if. There's no if in that sentence anymore. They have to turn up. That's the bottom line. And lots of people reading it differently, saying, and they're entitled to their opinion, saying that it means nothing, don't care, Celtic are champions. That's fine. That's a perfectly valid, perfectly valid summation as well. But for me, I think it matters more to Celtic on Sunday. And I from an optics point of view, as I said yesterday, and I don't think there's any excuses for them not turning up. Let's put it that way.
No excuses at all. None of this. We won the league last weekend. We want a performance, and most importantly, we want a result at Ibrox on Sunday. Yeah, we've not really discussed it at all, but we've got a couple more videos at least to do that. Just before we go, a reminder, everyone, this is the final day you can get involved. The final day you can get your hands on that A3 Jota print, as well as 6 full months of access. Half a year, that is, would you believe, for a single pound, £1. I would pay £1 simply for Tony's Odin Thiago Holm piece. But you get that, and you get another 5 months and 30 days, something like that. That makes sense. I don't know. I've kind of lost the will to live, Tony, but they should definitely get involved, shouldn't they?
Yeah, without a doubt. As I say, £1 for 6 months we think represents great value. You've also got the bonus of the Jota print as well. But subscriptions are vital to us. It helps us continue to do what we do on a daily basis, and we value every subscriber, and we thank them for what they bring to the table. And thank you to everybody who's taken that subscription up. And as I say, if you're thinking about it, don't think, just hit the button and join. You have until midnight tonight, and you'll also get that free Jota print. So you know what to do. Hit the button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And thank you, as I say, to everybody who's done that already.
Yes, a big thanks. Okay, everyone, we'll leave it there for now. Plenty more on the website. Definitely check out Tony's piece with Odin Holm, and I will return this time tomorrow.